Welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of community for solo entrepreneurs, especially for women over 50 who are entering into a new phase of business. That the importance of community, I think it becomes even more important. Throughout my 16 years in business, I have joined many different communities, some of them excellent, ones that I loved and was sorry to leave or sorry to see the program end. Some were not so good. Some of them were thrown together. Some of them I caught it on the tail end of a good thing and it was just winding down. But I can say when I have found the right community over these last 16 years, that is when I have experienced the most growth in my business and also as an entrepreneur. So I can actually track back some of the biggest things that I've done in my business and the biggest changes I've made to being in community with people who really got me, understood the journey I was on, were there to support me, and allowed me in return to support them. So if you've been in business for a while and you're kind of struggling or you're kind of realizing that something is changing, absolutely need to consider getting a coach. A coach can walk you through that transition. But I think even beyond that, or in addition to that, or sometimes instead of that, you need to find the right community that's going to grow with you, that's going to help you grow, and you can help them grow. So today I want to talk about the 5 reasons you should join a mastermind-like community. And maybe it is a mastermind, maybe it's just a really neat group coaching program, but somewhere where you can get plugged in as an entrepreneur, be seen, be heard, be understood, not have those blank stares that we often get from the people who love us but just don't get it. And people who are going to hold you accountable, hold your feet to the fire when it needs to be, and also, people are going to support you on the good days and the bad days because business and life, but business should not be done in isolation. I know plugging into the right place and to the right group of people, what a difference it has made in my business. And I would like to share with you how it can make a difference in yours. One of my favorite authors as I was learning about entrepreneurship and deciding if this is for me. And then once I decided that I did want to start a business, what in the world kind of business did I want to start? I read a lot of the author Barbara Sher because I am definitely a multi-passionate entrepreneur person. I have a lot of interests and there's a lot of things I felt I could do. And I was having a hard time narrowing it down to what I thought maybe I should do. What could I monetize? What could I do to help people? And Barbara Sher was very influential in helping me put together ideas and what I could do and helping me start little things on the side to test it out and do some reading or do some side hustles in my last job until I kind of got to the point where it was time. It was kind of a now or never time. It was time to start the business or give up the dream and just to stay in this 9 to 5 job. One of the things that she has said that has made the biggest impact on me, my business, the way I coach, the way I do business, but she did say that isolation is the dream killer. And Barbara Sher is somebody who understood what that meant. She saw it in herself. She saw it in the people she coached. She's heard about it from readers about how isolation leaves you feeling less than. Your comparisonitis is going to show up. You're going to feel imposter syndrome. You're going to wonder what in the world to do. So that's one of the reasons that I think you need to be in some part of a community that really you can invest in and they're going to invest in you because isolation is the dream killer. And so when you are in the right community, you are no longer doing business alone. You are doing it with people. I know in my mastermind, we call it being sojourners, that we are traveling along together to help each other out in this crazy entrepreneurial world that we have chosen. So that's number one. You stop doing business alone. You stop being isolated, especially when you are working from home in an online service-based business. I live in a very rural area, so finding places where I can get out and network are very limited. And so even for that, it's even more isolating. Even for me, the introvert, I love the creativity that comes from being alone, and I get recharged. My energy comes from being alone, but I also get energy from coaching in small groups. So I know that I love that one-on-one experience or working in a small group where we're working synergistically together and the ideas are flowing and I can really help someone cut through all the ideas and create an action plan. So when you are when you know your personality and you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, being in the right community is a place to be supported and no longer do it alone. The second reason I think you should join a mastermind like community is that you are there to give and receive support. How many times have you heard the saying that if you want to learn something, go teach it? And that can be often true for a lot of us as entrepreneurs who are feeling isolated and cut off from the world. That when we go teach what we know, there's a couple things that happens. One, we often realize, hey, I actually know more than I think I do. I can do this. I know what I'm talking about. I know when I have been on different teams over the years, working with different entrepreneurs and being able to find my voice and share my opinion and understand that I actually knew what I was talking about. That was some of the biggest confidence building for me in those, especially those early days of entrepreneurship. Like, hey, you know what? I know what I'm talking about. And people are listening and seeing results and getting success out of taking my advice. Wow. So when we are teaching and we are helping people and we're investing our expertise and our passion into the lives of somebody that we care, especially in a mastermind-like community, that is amazing. And you often learn more by teaching and giving support than a lot of times you do by receiving it. But in the right mastermind community, you also will get support and you will get encouraged and you will get great advice. And so there's a give and receive there that is so important. And you don't find that in a lot of Facebook groups or, if you've developed an Instagram community. Those are all wonderful and a lot of people need those and those are great. But getting into a community where you're there by choice and you're there in for the long haul, like sometimes it's a 6-month commitment, sometimes it's a year-long commitment, but you're there knowing people are not going to be just dropping in and out, but you're there to invest in the lives of each other. That's amazing. And when you have the right facilitator or coach who is leading the program and is fostering that environment, all the better. One of the first mastermind groups that I joined was early on in my career, and had been working with a business coach, and it was great working with him. And then he had this brilliant idea of taking all the clients that had been through his program, and he had us, we all paid him, I think it was like $100. And then what he did is he took all the names and all the experiences and broke us out into small groups. And we met for a year, and he called it your board of directors. That was one of the most amazing experiences really in the earlier on in my entrepreneurial career, was meeting with my group for a year, and I was able to invest in them and give them advice, and they invested in me and gave me advice. We had a place to go ask questions, to ask for advice, because well, I think all of us at the time were in some sort of transition, some sort of change. And so it was so helpful to have a place to go ask for advice. And then when we really needed it, we could go ask the coach as well. But he set it up in such a way that we were autonomous and that we really could lead each other. So each week we took turns facilitating. And eventually I think we had a couple guys that really did a really good job facilitating. So we let them do it. But we each took a turn of presenting something or leading the group and facilitating the conversation. And it was an amazing growth experience. And I was very sorry to see it end. By the end of the year, we had what we needed and we all started to go our separate ways. Another amazing experience was with one of my early business coaches, Diane Cunningham Ellis, and I joined one of her masterminds. And that was one of the catalysts I needed to finally think through my business at that time, which was 2 different entities. And suddenly, through asking a lot of questions and being a part of that group, and she facilitated wonderful discussions, that I finally was able to see the possibility of merging those 2 businesses into one. And it's what you see today, Sela Studios. And that is an amazing thing, is that when you can get the help of your fellow members, get the help of the facilitator or the coach leading the program, you have an amazing support system that is really hard to beat in any other scenario. A third reason I think you need to be part of a mastermind-like community is that there is so many networking and connecting opportunities. Again, a lot of times if we're working from home, we're working online, and we're either doing a lot of things by email or we're doing things that are assigned through a project management system, we feel very alone and isolated. So when you can get some face-to-face time, either in an in-person mastermind or something, or a group that meets on a regular basis. We meet in my mastermind, we meet twice a month, 2 to 3 times a month on Zoom, and it's on schedule. It's the same time. Each month, we set up a specific time and date to meet, and that becomes a habit. It becomes a way to really invest in the other person, but you also start to make connections and you see people, you know what, you are really good at this. And I had that question come from a client. I can't do that, but maybe you can help them. So you can start referring. And then the same thing can happen to you. People have, the fellow members have people coming to them asking for help, things that they don't provide. Who, hey, you know what? I have somebody in my mastermind who does that, and I'd love to introduce the two of you. I can't tell you how many times over the years that has happened. I've gained clients, I've gained connections, I've shown up on different people's podcasts, I've shown up on different summits, all because of the connections that I made through these small, intimate communities. And then you also have sharing of resources and fun quotes, great tools, advice, things that we're learning that's working, and sharing what's working and asking great questions so that the other people are gaining from our experience. And then just the people you meet along the way. I have made some incredible friends through the mastermind communities I've been a part of. And that type of networking and connecting, it has to be intentional, it has to be deliberate, and it's hard to find in just a general Facebook group or just from signing up for a course or a program. It takes intentionality. It takes meeting on a regular basis. It takes investing, and sometimes it takes vulnerability to share what you're going through or something that you have gone through and what you've learned through it, and share with others the lessons you have learned, or that you are going through a rough period and you're needing some help. I shared that one of the first places that I got the best help was my board of directors, and that really is something that has come to pass to every really impactful mastermind or group coaching type of environment that I have been a part of. And that's the other thing. That's the fourth thing that I think you need to be part of a mastermind community for, is that you have your personal advisory board. You have people who are seeing you, who are understanding you, who understand where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are. They know when you're on your good days and your bad days, and they're there to celebrate you or hold you up on the days that you just feel like you need some extra help. Because business is hard. Business is wonderful. I love being in business. I'm to the point where I don't think I could ever work for anyone else because I've been self-employed for so long. But it's not easy. I think entrepreneurship is probably one of the most intense personal development programs you will ever go through. There's other things, of course, in life, being raising a family, being married, all of that. But you know what the core of all of that is? Whether it's a mastermind, whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's marriage or children, it's relationships. And it's really showing your personality, where you're weak, what are your foibles, what are the things that are tripping you up. You get to know yourself pretty fast, and you have to learn to do some self-examination or have other people come into your life and speak some truth and say, you know what, that's not appropriate, or you're holding back. That's one of the things that my job as a coach in my mastermind, my one-on-one sessions, is telling some people, you know what, you're doing this out of fear. I see you going back to this habit, and you need to stop that because that is holding you back. That is tripping you up. That's sabotaging you. And that's what you get in a community where you're in there for longer periods of time and you don't have a lot of people coming in and out. It is a group of people, again, that you are investing yourself in them, and they're investing themselves in you. And when you can get that type of support, that's reason number 5 is growth and confidence. That's one of the things that you can get out of a mastermind-like community. Because when you are seen, when you are heard, when you have a great coach or facilitator who is leading the conversation, and they're all working together to make sure that everybody is growing and maturing, that's where growth comes from. That's when you get personal growth. That's where you get business growth. And through that, as you grow, and one thing we've talked about in the podcast a lot here is that once you get clarity, you have confidence, you grow. And once you start taking action on what you know, you continue to grow, you continue to gain confidence. And I have seen in my own mastermind, I have seen it in the masterminds I've been a part of, is that can be shortcutted. It doesn't have to be long and drawn out when you have the coach that really works with you, that really is a good fit for you, and you're part of the right community. that is going to support you on the good days, that's going to encourage you on the bad days, and everywhere in between. And they're going to invest in you, and you're going to invest in them. You're going to find incredible growth. You're going to gain confidence. You are going to gain connections, and you're going to have a network of people that you can refer to, and they can refer back to you. You can learn to give incredible help, and you can see how you're helping other people, and of course, receive help in return. And I think one of the biggest things, that I'm seeing right now is women feel very alone. And they feel alone because they are in a change. They're in a growth period. They're in a time of pivoting. They're in a time of, there's so much information out there. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to turn. And when they're in the right community, when they have the right support, one, they are seen and heard. They are no longer isolated, and they have a place to go and ask for help. And I'd love to have that for you. If you are struggling, if you are in a place where you are really struggling to know what your next step is, a mastermind might be the right place for you. And it needs to be a place where you can fit, where you understand what's going on in the mastermind, you understand the coach or the facilitator that's leading up the program. And it needs to be a place where you feel you can be you. And you don't have to feel like you're trying to fit into somebody else's shoes, somebody else's expectations. You're coming in as you, and you have a safe place to share your entrepreneurial journey, your business struggles, and you're not afraid to share your business wins. The right community is going to support you and celebrate you, and you are going to support and celebrate them. So I hope you will take some time to find a community, because I know what a difference it can make in the life of a female entrepreneur who's over 50, who is ready to change and grow their business from a generalist to a specialist. And they're ready to design a simple and sustainable business that's going to last them for years. If you would like to know more about one potential community, I would love for you to check out the Sela Society Mastermind. And you can read more about the program at selastudios.co/mastermind. And I'll have a link to that page in the show notes. But this is a special, curated group of women. We're all over 50. We've all been in business for at least 2 to 3 years. A lot of us have been in business longer. And I am able to work with them and coach them through finding more clarity, getting more specific, getting over their fears. And they, in turn, will call me out when they see me that I'm starting to hold back. And that is the beauty of the community that we have created. It's a very special place, and it is a place that I protect. And so I do not let in everyone. It is an application process. It is for people who are, for women specifically, over 50. A lot of us have health issues. A lot of us are have been generalists, and a lot of us coming from the virtual assistant world and are moving more into a coaching and consulting, into a business that is serving on a deeper way, that is helping us connect with our clients differently, and we're able to then take the change that we're seeing in our own business and help other women do the same. It's also a group of women who are probably more on the spectrum of being a highly sensitive person, that we get overwhelmed easily, or too fast, too much, and we kind of shut down. And that is why I call myself a gentle business coach. And that definitely comes to play in the Sela Society Mastermind. And so if you would like to be part of a community where you are going to give and receive help, you're going to stop doing business alone, you're going to find networks and connections, you're going to have an advisory board, a place for you to go and ask questions when you need help and to make decisions, or float out ideas, or just say, here's an idea, tell me if I'm crazy or not. That's not an uncommon request. And the place where you want to grow in your business, grow as a person, and find the confidence you need to design a business that allows you to step into your calling even further, serve amazing people along the way, then the Sela Mastermind might be the great fit for you. So please visit me at selastudios.co/mastermind, or you can reach out on Facebook or Instagram and send me a message. I'd be happy to talk to you about it and share a bit more about the experience of being in a mastermind. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm happy to talk. Until next time.